human trafficking, sex slavery is the most evil thing that happens in today's society. And there's no one that I know personally that is combating this threat than Howie Williams. Okay, Howie Williams is a firearms instructor and he's the director of an armed security company. And Howie, just thanks a bunch for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the invite. Like I said, you're the man, but thank you for the invite.
Yeah. So, so of course, let's just address the elephant in the room. Tell me about some of the work that you do against human trafficking.
Yes, as you said, I am director of what's called USISB, which is United States Investigative Services Bureau. That's under the Brian Callis Foundation, and we support saving lost kids for that deals with the direct human trafficking. What we do, of course, is provide jobs for the security agents, as I call them, because we are highly trained. I don't, I wanted to have more capable cards, not just the typical everyday Joe security guard that we see, the sloppy Joe security guard, as I call them. And I want us to be very professional, and that's why I call them agents, and have the hierarchy of what they could do. There's chances where they can grow and get higher positions as their certifications are higher. But the main thing, which is the baseline certification, they have to pass the FBI shooting qual. That's a requirement, which is a lot higher than the state requirement for security guards. And so that's what's going to stand off from the rest. And we are also, with my deputy director, who's also head of training that I've placed, is doing the Federal Protective Services training. It's going to do a lot of other training. It's going to be quarterly qualifications that they have to maintain as well. And we're very serious with training and very serious with professionalism within the security company. And for those who want to volunteer to go rescue the girls up to age 17, they have to be executive security agents. As we go over to, asked to have to do that certification with Sam Hines, and they have to know how to transport, you know, individuals, or as we call them, dignitaries, or the with the detail leaders and everything like that, and do it safely while you're being aware of your surroundings. Rescuing the girls, we don't try to be in a shootout with the sex traffickers, but we try to see when's the best time to safely walk them off and away from their sex trafficking folks. And so whenever we see the best time, we just walk them off, and it works really well, very peaceful, while the others would look and keep eyes on, the sex traffickers, and make sure that they do not try to start a gunfight, because that's the last thing we want is to have a gunfight. Of course, if we have to, the agents are highly trained to not only, protect the child, but to get out of that situation as fast as possible and to stop the threat if necessary. And so they want, we have a low rate of, anyone doing any kind of stray bullets or anything like that, because of the type of training we put them through and the high stress that we do. And of course, some of that, is good, does reflect you as well, Mr. Mikos, from the training that you've done with us, because we really enjoy you. But yes, it's a big problem. It's a bigger problem than what people realize out in the public. And here in the Memphis area, it's humongous. You don't see or hear about it. There was an attempted kidnapping or sex trafficking actually a few days ago, but there's a lot of it that goes on that does not make the news. And so we really try to get folks out, especially with, get the word out, especially through our prevention program. Because with sex trafficking, we have three programs underneath Saving Lost Kids. And if you want to look at the website, it's savinglostkids.org. And first part of that is prevention, where we do the training to teach young girls and boys what to do to prevent themselves from being sex trafficked. Then we had the recovery, which what I just discussed about the security company being involved with that, where they come and volunteer to go out and rescue the child, which, by the way, we were part of rescuing 11 children last year, which is really good to be a part
Wow.
of that. Um, Law enforcement is liking this as well, as we've been trying to establish some things with them, and they're really liking the part that we are actually licensed security company, because there's a lot of different entities out there across the country that do the same thing, rescuing children from sex trafficking, but they're doing it as a private group. But we've decided to go ahead and make it as an official security company, and that way we can have a contract, charge the parent for $1 and have an actual contract to go and rescue the child. So we have the legalities covered with that. And that's the recovery side. Then there's a rehabilitation side. Once a child has been rescued, they're mentally still in that sex trafficking mode. So we have to go and give them the counseling and the services. And it actually involves churches as well, asking them to pray for the child as well while they're going through rehabilitation, so that they can fully be recovered from sex trafficking. As we recover them physically, we got to recover them mentally and spiritually as well, so that they could be totally apart from that and not wind up back in the hands of their sex trafficker. Because that does happen a lot. And when we talk with one of the law enforcement agencies, that was one of the problems that they had. Once they recovered a child, they wind up back out there. So we're glad that we have, the foundation set to where we know to go ahead and have the child go through rehabilitation, while the executive security agents are still watching over the child, making sure the child is still safe. Because once we recover the children, that's recovering somebody's moneymaker. And so you have to be careful and aware of your surroundings when we do that. And that's one of the things that we, make sure that that is taken care of. So there's a lot of under, I guess you said, underground railroad work going on to keep the children, safe until we can really get them back fully out of sex trafficking and into their parents' hands as a normal child, and then still give them the tools to be aware of their surroundings and how to not be another victim of sex trafficking. So it is a big job. It does take a large village to do, and it can't just be individuals doing this. You really need a large team to do this, and that's what we've been doing and growing, and really trying to have everybody come together, because we're not trying to make someone like law enforcement, whoever, not try to make them look bad. It's all about rescuing the children. And that's all about, we don't care about the glory or anything like that. Our glory is that the child is fully recovered and back with their parents, and they can go to school and have no problems or anything like that. So that's where we take happiness in, that they have been fully recovered. So I'm grateful that we can do that we're able to have the tools to do it, have the team to do it with, and then of course are open to anyone else who has a desire to help out. Because they can definitely contact us too if they really want to help out with that, because it's a lot of room, a lot of things that needs to be done, and a lot of work to do that. So yeah, definitely can do that. I do
That sounds
appreciate.
incredible.
Yes, it's yeah, it is a big thing, and then we're starting to actually go into Mississippi as well. As God has been trying to open doors, as we was going to try to do it one at a time, but He's kind of opened multiple doors at the same time. So
Yeah.
um, definitely, because I mean the help is greatly needed, and working on for us to have our proper licenses in Mississippi and Arkansas, so we can handle the tri-state area. Eventually, if we have to, because we have gone to Kentucky and other states to rescue children, so that has happened. So we definitely want to make sure we have our licenses to do that as well. So we definitely going to, it's going to be a cost, of course, when we're dealing with a business, but it is worth it as far as rescuing the children and being there for the children. Definitely worth it.
How
Definitely worth it.
can how can our viewers and listeners, what can we do to help? Like, is there like a website to donate, or
Yes, there's savinglostkids.org, and that's savinglostkids with an S.org, or you can go to usisb.org. Either one of those two, there's the phone numbers there. You can donate. If you want to get involved, there's links there that you can reach out. And then if you want to send email, there's protect, the word protect at usisb.org. And that email comes to us, USISB, if you're interested in the security company and want to do, things like that. And so, yeah, so we're really trying to cover all that. And we are actually starting to get a private investigative division as well. So where we actually can do more research through, PI license and be able to do that too. So we're really focused and thanking God every step of the way to get everything correct and get everything right, and having the people already in place who has the heart and the willingness to do it. So do thank God for that. But yes, there's websites, and yes, we are open arms for anyone who wants to volunteer. I definitely need volunteers. Open arms to those who are willing to want to come onto the security company and who are willing to do the training. It's a lot of work. It's not just, like I said, it's not an everyday security company. No, we're highly trained. We want everyone who wants to come on to be highly trained, and you have to be willing to invest into yourself as well, and practice. I mean, that, Mr. Memphis Beach, as you tell your students too, hey, you got to practice, you got to want it. If you want to really good, you want to start carrying a handgun, because it's highly important to train. You can't just have a handgun like it's going to do it for you. It'll be on your side in your holster, and that's all it's going to be. You don't know how to use it, it's not going to work for you. You got to work it yourself correctly and consistently. So, but yes, but that's where they could reach us. That's where we definitely need the help. Yes, we definitely need any resources that, one is willing to donate or give, or any talents that one wants to come and to contribute. The door is open, and yeah, we definitely do that. Of course, as we bring people in who wants to contribute their time or talent, of course, we do background checks. We want to make sure everyone is legitimate, and everyone is okay, because you're dealing with children. So we're definitely doing that. And now, of course, we've already been doing the training for being around individuals being sex trafficked, but now it is a state law as of the first of this year that is mandatory to do training, and it's already mandatory in Mississippi as well. So that you will be trained on how to handle those who have been sex trafficking as well. So we're not going to just throw you out there and just say, "Okay, go do it." No, we work as teams, and we work as leading by example as well. We don't just try to throw you out there. So yes, a lot of work that has to be done, and a lot of help that's needed.
yeah,
It is a big thing. It is a big thing.
how do you find out about these girls?
Well, there's a lot of research, and that's what I deal with, the security side, but there's another part of the side, that a group that deals with the research, and they do the research and reach out, and I don't know their detail, probably wouldn't say it anyway, but they do a lot of detail. They do a lot of detailed research and looking at different things. It's many different ways to research social media and all other platforms, as well as other
Yeah.
means too. And then once that there's a catch, then especially if it's out of Memphis area or whatever, we'll get with that local law enforcement to give them everything that we have. Now, once we get our private investigation license, then we'll be able to do more investigative work. And that's going to really open doors to do a lot more that we can do. And we have already individuals that has the heart and wants to do that and has the gift to do that too. And yeah, but there's a lot of research, a lot of investigative work, and then reaching out to the local law enforcement and working with them, letting them tell us, give them the option. Hey, do you want us to go recover or you go recover? To give them that option. We're not trying to do the law enforcement work. We want to work as a team. And a lot of times they say, "Oh no, we go give us the information," and they go and recover, or sometimes they say, "Well, yeah, go ahead. We just go ahead and manpower and we just go get them." So it just all depends. But most of the time, law enforcement does work with us, and they go get them, and they see that we are legitimate. We're not just some Joe Smo people, group, ragtag group that
Yeah.
come together. They see and they get all of our information. And some of our folks that's on our team are prior law enforcement as well, so they know how to talk, the logo, the communication with them, so they know how to deal, how to communicate with them and in their language, and that helps out as well. And we're really thankful for that, to have that, opportunity and availability for law enforcement to help out too. Because that's, like I said, it's all about rescuing the girls. So all about that. And
Definitely.
pretty soon we'll be with the boys as well. The big problem in this area is the girls, but the boys do get kidnapped as well. And it's a fortunate thing. And then there's even through the training of, for those who have come, they'll learn that sometimes parents sex traffic their own children out the garage. And it's just, money just makes people do crazy things. And there's a lot more, for those who want to get into this, but that's just how serious it is. And it's a big money maker market. And that's what really makes it hard for it to stop. So, we definitely have a big fight on our hands to rescue the children, to help them get the normal future that they can have without just staying in sex trafficking and wind up not living as long, because they typically don't stay, as long after a while, especially after being drugged up when they get older. And a lot of times when they get a certain age, they just get kicked to the side anyway, because a lot of folks who do that, they just want children. They don't want adults, they don't want the older folks. They want children. And that's just that type of mindset that's out there. And so it's
Man, that's tough to think about.
it is. And that's why we really want to focus on, teaching parents, the preventative side, the things to think about, because people tend to think that their area is safe from a lot of different crimes, but we know it's not. Crimes are everywhere. You just have to use, hopefully, by the training, about situation awareness. You have to be aware of your situation, of your surroundings. Never try to just stare in your cell phone all the time or focus, have the tunnel vision of things, because your child can get taken from you. You would not even see. They are very, very professional in stealing children. They really are. And they can transport a child right next to you and you wouldn't even not know because of the vans that they have in. They build the vans and vehicles, carry a child without even knowing a child is in there. And so you would not know unless you know what to look for. And there's
Can
different
you?
variations of vehicles of that too.
I lost that last 10 seconds. Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Uh, which part? It was
The
the
vans.
yeah, the vans. The people are very professional in kidnapping children, and they will be in a van where you wouldn't even know a child is in there because they rebuild them to house the children in there without people knowing. And sometimes you can spot them out because they just look weird and different. Okay. Not the standard van that you would normally see on the road. And they have extra cameras around the van that you can probably pick up, those small cameras and stuff that's been there that's not part of the mount, what the manufacturer put on the vehicle. but they do a lot of different things to kidnap a child and to house the child in the van while they're transporting them out of the area. And you could, like I say, you could be right next to them at a traffic light. You would not know there's a child there. And so it's that's ongoing training that has to happen to recognize that, because of course it constantly changes. Some of them, since we've been in it, yes, we recognize that possibility of, yes, that could be a van that has a child in it, or that's being used for that. But there's other vans, other vehicles, cars, small cars, trucks, whatever, that they can use that would not fit the description of possibility being a sex trafficking vehicle. So it's large, and it's a large fight, but like I said, we have rescued 11 children last year, which is great. But there's a lot more that needs to be rescued. And that's why, I'm thankful even for this show to really talk about it, because we really want to reach out, to parents, reach out to everyone and let them know it is a big situation that's going on in our area, in our region. And so, up for Juneteenth this year, we are actually going to talk about child safety during that celebration time too at the Hickory Ridge Mall. And we're hoping that people can come and get their children registered through Seven Lost Kids with the identikits that we have, so that we take their DNA and really build up a record, passport, and everything on the child, so that we have everything. The parent has everything, and that way, if something happens, that they have everything that they can give to law enforcement to help locate their child. And so it's an awesome opportunity that's free to the public for people to, for parents to get their children's, identity passport done through Save the Lost Kids. And so,
and that's on the website, savinglostkids.org, correct?
Yes, savelostkids.org. Yes. And you go there, you can call us about it, talk about it. Let me see if it's here. And yeah, you have to come to actually do it, to bring the child to, and we're at the Hickory Ridge Mall Town Center, to bring the child there, set an appointment time, and we'll go ahead and do the child passport. Go ahead and do it with them, get their picture, the height, all that, everything. And so, the children usually love taking pictures. So, they love that. But yeah, it's there's a lot that's offered that we have, that parents can do, or even those who just they got nephews, nieces that they feel they could bring them in. If they as long as they're the custodial parent, those who legally can watch over them or make decisions for them. Yes, we bring them in and we'll go ahead and do that. But definitely, it's definitely needed, and it's definitely suggested to do that, because you never know. It could be whose child is next. It's not if it's going to be next, but who's going to be next. So you definitely have to be prepared for that. And that's a great way to be prepared for that. And we yeah, definitely.
So, for my friends and family, like, what can I do to help them protect? Like, what can I do to help protect my kid, my family, my nieces, my friends' kids? Like, what can I do to protect the young girls in my life from becoming a victim?
Well, one, to be taking the training, to know the prevention training, or that we have. And two, there's also other entities out here that you can actually get involved with, which we have the information for that, where you can take online training, and just it's the be able to train to be aware of what's going on, because right now, general public, you don't know what it looks like. Okay, you don't know what to look for, and just like handgun training, fellow instructor, people don't know until they learn what to do and how to do, and that's what the training does. And so that, once you take the basis of that to get the foundational information, then you can come together, and we could teach neighborhoods to do that, where they can have their own neighborhood watch, to watch their children and what to look for, and to be aware of their surroundings as well. Because the big thing is situational awareness. I mean, I know I drill that with my students all the time. You need to be, taking the situational awareness training because you have to be aware of your surroundings. And that is the big thing. And if you have multiple set of eyes watching the neighborhood and, the children knowing the neighbors and the neighbors knowing whose children and who's who, and, and basically a neighborhood block watch, being part of that. We definitely would come in to those who have established black block watches already to come in and do prevention training, as well as doing the child ID kits as well. So we definitely could do that as well. Churches, we definitely go to churches, wherever, groups can come together. We definitely could train and definitely can teach and let them know what to look for and what to do in events something is happening. The big thing is you see something, you say something, you even little things, because it could be little things that are happening around you that you might not notice, but then they're doing a study case of your area, a case study of your area to see what children they can get. And once they see the child is interesting, they take a picture of the child, they put it in their network. And if somebody says, yeah, I want that child, all of a sudden they're going to work towards getting that child. And so there's things that you have to look for and have to be aware of. And but the awareness is the big part, and awareness is a big weapon against that, because you're aware of your surroundings and they cannot set up. And it's not like it's hopeless, like they just going to get them. Now, if you're being aware and there's an adult always around, never leaving your child alone outside or going somewhere in the bathroom by themselves, and because there's been children that have been kidnapped right out of church because parents let them go to the bathroom by themselves, and all of a sudden folks are back there because they saw the routine. And that's the big thing too. For people to see the routine of others, they have to be there for a while. So you have to be aware of what's going on and not just having a tunnel vision, like I said before. And so don't let the child go to the bathroom by themselves. I don't care how old they are. Go to groups, like stand outside, or you can go inside with the child, whatever, but you definitely have to be aware of your surroundings. So, and that's the big weapon against that. The fight against that is awareness, and I've seen too many people that, like at church, since I do go to church, we both do, they just stare at the pulpit. They don't look around their surroundings and not aware of nothing but the pulpit. And you have to be aware because churches are a soft target, unfortunately. And so a lot of things could happen with that, with churches and, and other places where people meet, and you have someone that's doing a show, and, you can't just get caught up into the show or the entertainment. You have to be aware of your surroundings and of your child and where they're going. And don't be in your phone either, because you could be in your phone in a conversation and all of a sudden your child can still be taken from you. And because you weren't aware of what's going on or your surroundings. Have that safety bubble of awareness around you, so that if anyone comes in that bubble around you when you have your child, then you're challenging them. You're figuring out who they are and how you doing, or at least talking to them, acknowledging them, hey, I see you type thing. And that's just sharing some of that situational awareness training that we do. Um, just kind of being aware of that. But you have your safety bubble, so if somebody gets close to that, you're focused on them and seeing what they're doing and keeping your child a little closer to you, and as well as anything else, because you don't know what they may do. And you don't know if they have a partner with them, or three people with them, or one takes your attention when somebody else grabs the child and leaves before you know it. So it's just being aware, and if you can, be in groups where it's harder for someone to take someone, when there's a group of folks that's coming together, two adults, being together, because you got more eyes that you can look around and see. And so it's there's a lot of tools and weapons and things that can be done to help prevent that. You just gotta learn what to do. And you can't just think, oh, I'll just be aware of my surroundings. Well, no, there's techniques, as me, there's things that you have to be taught to know what to look for, how to look. It's not just as simple just looking around. So you definitely being aware. And if you can get the neighborhood to be aware, that's awesome. You get your friends to be aware and their neighbors to be aware. That's awesome, and hopefully it's not like you're being nosy, you're just being aware. And so that's what's awesome. So hopefully that can help right away until people can come and get the training from us.
Yeah.
Training and
Yeah.
information.
Wow, this is heavy. So, speaking of training,
Mhm.
I know you have other passion projects that you work on as well. There's other things that you do that are, I mean, yeah, you do it for work, but you're extremely passionate about them as well. Like you're a firearms instructor. And tell me a little bit more about the stuff that you're passionate about that you do.
Yes, of course, I was a Desert Storm veteran, and I know you're a veteran too, so thank you for your service. And yeah, Desert Storm veteran in combat support. And I always want to make sure people are doing the right thing when they want to be involved with something. And so, of course, with me, when I was on the anti-terrorism security teams, where we, of course, had to train with FBI and the Marines and the other entities to fight against terrorism and to recognize terrorism, and we also was the team that worked alongside Secret Service to protect the president during presidential visits. So people kind of trip out when I tell them I had a gun on my side, an open carry, and I was standing right in front of the president of the United States. And they're like, "What?" They sometimes they don't believe me, but I say, "Yeah, that's what I did because I
That's
was
a
on that
strong
team."
flex, man.
Yeah, yeah, and it was interesting how Secret Service does that, and it's all about, and it's part of Exec Protect as well. And so I've done that when I was in the military before I got the certification when I got out. And I was actually uh, assistant manager over the whole department of about 110 security members for that team. And we really had fun, had fun spraying the pepper spray and everything, doing the training. But it was fun, but it was a lot of seriousness too. And that's a whole different mindset there. But you definitely can't do that out here in the public, as you know. And to train folks the right way, if you want to carry a handgun, you definitely need to know how to use your handgun. Because the handgun just being on your hip just doesn't mean nothing. It's just a trophy. It's just an item on a shelf if you don't know how to use it. And there's so much training available that's out there. Yes, we have our own training center that's in Hickory Ridge Mall, and I also give there's quality. We do great quality training, and I know there's the other entity too. As I say, with Top Gun, they are awesome as well. We're just like family, there, and do grateful that to hold on to the quality trainers, because there are some trainers out there that are sorry to say that the quality's not there. And that's what we try to make sure people learn the right way of gun ownership so they could be safe and responsible. Because one of our goals is in my heart is to bring the unintentional shooting deaths down to zero in West Tennessee. Period. It's people. If you're not safe with your handgun, things happen. And no, it's the people that cause the guns to go off. The guns don't just go off on their own when you sit them on the shelf. But there's been too many accidental shootings. We've had a child, a 17-year-old who shot her friend because another friend brought a gun to them, and they were right behind us, at the mall in that neighborhood. And she wound up shooting her friend and killing him after she was sitting there talking with him, playing around with the gun. And we really want to reach out to parents and to, teenagers, and showing them the safe way if they do come across a handgun, what to do and what not to do. And if it's, and what, and making sure your friends don't do that, because it's not a toy. It's definitely not a toy. And we definitely give the free handgun safety training to the public once a quarter with Saving Lost Kids and with, our training center as well. Because that's what we want to do. That's how important it is to us not trying to sit there and make money off of you. No, we want you to get the safety information. Because if you're going to have a handgun in your home, and it's understandable, you can have a handgun in your home, okay, for protection. That's understandable, and that's a great reason. But you got to have safety nets. You got to make sure you lock it up so that anyone, when you're not around your handgun, no one else can get to your handgun. And don't think that children cannot get your combination or your key because they're always looking. Remember, we were young, we were sneaky as well. So make sure to lock it up, to keep it away from those who are not authorized to have your gun because bad things tend to happen. And you really should get the training, at least the basics training on how to use your handgun, how to, uh, work with your gun if you feel someone's breaking into your home so that you don't have the unintentional shootings that can still happen, even though there's another situation that's happening. So there's a lot of things that you need to take account for. And I know that there's a lot of violent things that's going on with guns, and people want to remove guns from the street. And if we were a culture that never had guns, that would be possible. But the black market is out there. And if all the guns were taken off the street from those of us who are legally carrying, and we're not even thinking about trying to go and rob nobody or shoot anyone or do anything like that. We just have for protection and recreation. We enjoy shooting at the range. We enjoy training. Yeah, but if you take all that away, then those who don't care about the law will break in and attack you more because they know that you don't have a gun, you don't have a tool to protect yourself. And so definitely be aware of how to use your gun correctly, consistently all the time, not just to go buy one and, oh, I got one. And yes, I know permitless carry law has been in effect. Guess what? There is a fine print in that law. And there's a lot of people who do not know about that law that has gotten felonies because they broke that law. And that law, and our sheriff had talked about it when it came out. It was a Pandora's box. The news doesn't give you all the information about it. They only give you a little bit. You have to do the research. Now, I've had young students that came in, and I was very impressed that they researched the law on their own, and they had to come in. They said they wanted to get their enhanced handgun carry permit. And I was very impressed with them, and I told them, I am very proud to hear you say that because a lot of folks do not understand the importance of carrying a permit. There's been too many young urbanites that have caught a felony because they had a gun on their side and they were in a place that is deemed public recreation. And that is where you can catch a felony very easy if you get caught with a handgun. You catch a felony, that means to take away your gun and you take away your right to vote. And you don't want to be in that situation because that felony stays with you. And then if you catch a felony and you plead guilty later on in life, you cannot get it expunged because you pleaded guilty. And that's usually what those public defenders want you to do. So you can go back. So you can go back home, just plead guilty. Well, you can't get it expunged because you pled guilty. So you have to know your rights. You have to know a lot of things. You can't just go get a gun and that's it. There's a lot of responsibility behind it, a lot of accountability behind it as well, regardless if you have a permit or not. Just because you don't have a permit doesn't mean you don't have the responsibility and accountability. But if you do something wrong, you will be held liable, okay, in court. And you will be charged most likely if you've done something wrong. And so you definitely want to be prepared for that. There's a shooting. If you have to shoot, there's an aftermath that you're going to live through. And if you're done wrong, especially you had no training or whatever, you might have shot an innocent bystander. And that's going to be charged against you, definitely. So training is highly important. It's not like us as instructors are trying to, oh, come make money off you. No, we're trying to give you the information to empower you to be confident with your handgun and to be safe with your handgun. And that's what we want. That is the main reason. Because no, we're not. It's not like we're gonna get rich in doing this. We enjoy teaching. We enjoy seeing the students had that aha moment once they learn something. and
Yeah.
that just makes us happy to see that. And then their shooting gets better and they get more confident, so that if they have to use it to protect themselves, to stop a threat, we don't teach them on how to kill folks. We tell them stop a threat. That's what you're doing. And when you have a threat of life or serious bodily injury, you have the right to protect yourself. But when they start shooting better, then they have more confidence in that, and they train more. We give them the tools to practice more at home safely with dry firing. And yeah, I mean, Mikos, yeah, you're the dry fire king. That's the dry fire king right there. So, but definitely dry fire, and we tell folks like, hey, you need dry fire a lot more times than you go to the range itself, because it's 90%. Is that right? 90% dry fire, 10% at the range will do you extremely well. And so, but you have to dry fire and practice correctly. You do something wrong, you have bad habits, you won't learn the right way. You won't do it the right way. And so, yeah, so we enjoy doing that, and that's what, that's one of the things I love doing. Because when I was in the military, I was teaching, and yeah, they were having aha moments, and all that, especially the young security guards and everything. And we teach them the things, and some of the things that mindsets that we had to instill in them, because they didn't know or believe that, yes, we did not take hostages if the terrorist has top secret information. It doesn't matter who he's hiding behind. Everybody's going down. So, because that top secret is not getting out of the building. So, and that's the type of mindset we had to have. But that's military, though. Here in the civilian side, you can't do that. Okay, you'll be accountable for every round that leaves your gun. And if people, and I know there's a lot of people that walk around out there because of the permanent carry law, which, by the way, this year, over just about half of the country, every of the states, all half of the states in the country have the permanent carry law now, starting this year. So this, not getting to the politics of things, but there could be a tool if people do not read and take heed of the fine print of the law. You can lose your right to vote, and you lose your right to arm yourself to protect yourself in your home. And so you don't want to be in that situation at all. And then you have a hard time finding work because of your felony and all this. And to give an example, and this is the best example I use when I talk to my students or anyone who does not have an idea about the permanent carry law, we have a place called Bill Street. Okay, a lot of folks know about Bill Street. Bill Street is near downtown and area, and they close it off to do some partying, and it's fun partying. You got a lot of blues and jazz, and it's a nice place to go to, and it's just party street. Okay, and a lot of businesses are there, and it's pretty fun. Now, if a person without a permit walks down that street on the sidewalk, but it's not closed off for public activity, cars going up and down, because they only close it off at certain times. Person going up and down, walking up and down the sidewalk while cars are rolling, it's fine. They're good because they're in permanent carry. They're good. But once the police blocks it off and they have public recreation going on, they walk down that same sidewalk with a gun, they could be arrested. Any area or building that's deemed public recreation, a person without a permit that gets caught with a gun will be charged with a felony, and they will confiscate your gun. So it means you done lost what, $600 something dollars just because you wanted to carry without a permit. Now, if you have a permit, you're good. Of course, you want to get on Bill Street with a gun when the party's going on, because there's no weapons allowed. But you're good if you go in these other areas like a park or a civic center and you have an enhanced carry permit. You're good. If something happens, they say, "Oh, you got a gun," they probably tell you just to leave or whatever, but you won't be arrested. So that's how important it is to know. I'm a member of Tennessee Firearms Association, and when this bill came out last year, they really condemned it. They said it was a bad, bill at the time, of course, law now, and they said it was an unconstitutional way for the government to remove the rights of a constitution, the constitutional rights of the individual. So that lets me know that, they studied it and they said it was bad. There's catches in there. And they said it's just a big trap. So don't just believe the hype that you hear on the news. Read the fine print. And that's the fine print. Even in the law itself, it says public recreation, civic centers, whatever, parks, and then it has dots behind it. So that means anywhere. When you see that dot, 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 they can't even list every area in the law, because anywhere could be, as long as it's deemed public recreation, you can catch a felony if you don't have a permit. So you have to be aware of that. And a lot of people don't know that. And then when I talk, and I really like to reach out to the younger crowd, because they're the ones that say, "Oh, I can go get a gun without training," and that's not what you need to do. You got training to drive a car. So,
Yeah.
and even though some people drive, doesn't look like they got the training, but you got to get the driver's license. So you definitely should get the training when you have a gun, because you use it incorrectly, it can wind up deadly. You don't want that to happen because you're not trained enough to use it or to have it, in general. So yeah, so definitely that's definitely wanted to do that, and I am fortunate to have started, with the gun team as well. We do have a gun chapter here with National African American Gun Association, which I'm the chapter president, and Mr. Miko, Superman Miko's here. He's one of the training officers as well. And yes, we enjoy, and I thank God for the resources we have, because we have about 6 or 7 instructors on the team of 25 that's about to grow into 27, and it's steadily growing. We have good quality people that are on the team, as they want to come and learn and be safe, as well as network, as well as we're going to go bowling and other things too, just with like-minded individuals. And we're safe with our handguns, we're safe with everything that we do, and the training's there, and it's just a great bunch of people, to come, to that's on the team. Even though it's National African American Gun Association, yes, it's owned and operated by African Americans. It's about, I think it's 7 going on 8 years old now. But it's open to everyone. It's not just African Americans. So anyone can come on. Doesn't matter what nationality, or we don't just stick with the nationality or which sex you are, religion, or anything. No, it's open to everyone. And so, that's naaga.co. If you want to get more information with that. And there's a lot of teams across the country, a lot of chapters, gun chapters across the country, where, we're unified and come together just to do different things in the community. And, as we're going to be doing for Juneteenth with NAGA, as well as the training center that we have, that I'm an owner of as well, and having Saving Lost Kids there as well. And ABC 20, one of the news channels going to be there, radio stations going to be there, probably a couple of news channels there. So it's all going to be geared towards child safety, and that's what we stand for: safe and responsible gun ownership. And that's on my heart. That's on Miko's heart. That's on Naga's heart. Everyone that's on our team, we want it to be safe and responsible, because you can be safe and responsible gun owners. It's not just those who do the crime or who are negligent or anything else. Yeah, we have it on our hips and we know how to use it. And so, but it's it's not like just any old body. And so, but yeah.
So basically, you left the military and you decided to get into uh, firearms instruction and armed security and saving lost girls. Like, did I get that right, or was there?
Yeah, so I
happened?
Yeah, I got out the military, and first had to go through the transition period of, okay, I'm a civilian. And so,
Yeah.
had to kind of find myself as a civilian, because, when I was in the Army first while I was in high school. I was in National Guard, and as soon as I graduated on that Friday, Monday I went to boot camp. So I didn't have, it was just, I didn't want to wait. They're like, you don't want to wait? No, there's no reason to wait. So yes, I did that. So yeah, all I knew was military, and um, been a lot of different places. With of course, been in Africa. A lot of people forget about Operation Sharp Edge before Desert Shield, and then Desert Storm and Provide Comfort was in all those. And you know, there's a lot of evil that people do with each other, and because of what was seen during the war and during those operations, and seen and heard and everything, it's the dangers are here. And I know that met a lot of people who, before I became into guns, met a lot of people who wanted to buy a gun to protect themselves because of that fear. They want to know, how do I do this? How do I make sure I'm safe with this? Because they have the fear of using it, but they know they want to have a tool to protect themselves and their families. And so that's where I saw the need of, because since I was a trainer, as with the anti-terrorism team, that's why I started my journey of becoming an instructor. And of course, as you know, because when you become an instructor, you don't just stop learning. That's when you really start your journey of learning.
Yeah.
And you don't. It's not like the instructor. I'm an instructor. I'm the know-it-all. No, there's always something to learn. And so, even though we instruct people, we go get instruction. And if you're, excuse me, with an instructor that does not do that, I would probably suggest that you don't go to that instructor. Because you can always research your instructors, see what they have, see what, credentials that they built up. But if they only have one little thing, that might not be the one you want to go to. Because I've learned a lot, with Range Master, I learned a whole lot. The force on force instruction, learned a lot with Carl Rain. Got in touch with Steve Moses and Ed Monk. There's just a lot of great trainers, and then Masad Aouf. I mean, the list goes on with John Hearn and everyone. I mean, it's just awesome, community of trainers out there that are willing to train us and really support us, that because we want to come and learn. So we're hungry to learn, and as we learn more, that helps out our students to really get more, and out of our classes. So yeah, definitely research your instructors, see what they have available, see what learning have they been doing. Don't just go there because, oh, I'm a firearm instructor. That's just the basis. That's like step one of many. So of many levels of training. So definitely look at that, research and know what your instructor knows. What do you know to teach me, and how do I know that you know what you're talking about? Because yes, basic handgun is it. That's it's great training. You never want to avoid basic, because even you go into the higher level of gun training, you still got to do the basics. If you don't do the basics right, you won't do the higher level stuff right. So
someone was detected at your front door.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, no, that's somebody that just walked past that camera.
Oh, okay.
That's a
I was about to say, ladies and gentlemen, we get to see Howie out there taking care of business.
Well, yeah, it feels like that. Yeah. I've been like, hold on.
Oh boy.
My wife babysits, and that's his mom that just coming to pick him up. So one of my cameras caught him, and got a program for this to say, hey, someone at your front door. So that's all that was.
All right.
But but that's what got me into the training and wanting to train people the right way. And because yes, we got a lot of training when we was in the military, but it was with rifle. The pistol was not a lot of training. They say, here, shoot it. But we learned a whole lot of training with tactical procedures and different things with your rifle and how to move. And but definitely want to share that, not the military things, because civilians can't learn all the military stuff because it takes too long. It took us months of training, right? It took us months of training to get what we know. And and then all that training, we can't really use it in the streets here. So that's not what you should look for. You need to look for the basics, and you look for all that, in the basic handgun community and basic handgun training, and get your basics solid so that you know what you're doing with your handgun. But yeah, that's what gave me the heart with that. So
Wow.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're at 55 minutes.
Oh, really?
Howie, I think we tell you what, I'm looking at my notes and I think we covered just about everything that, I wanted to learn more about. And I think our viewers and listeners are going to be really happy with this.
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, is there anything else that you want to say? Any organizations or any websites that you want to make people aware of? I think we talked about savinglostkids.org, correct? And
Yes. Mhm.
usisb.org.
Yes, sir. And
Okay.
and our training center is J Nisi Safety Consultants is the name of it. And that's the letter J, N as in Nancy, I as in India, S as in Sam, S as in Sam, I as in India. That's J Nisi Safety Consultants with an S. .com, and that's our website for the training center. We are about to go through a name change, but doing a DBA to be more for people to relate to us more. But yes, we've been definitely have a group of instructors that are high quality and have the same heart as we do. Really want you to learn the right way. And again, with Naga, NAAGA.co is the Naga main website for national. And then, yeah, you can find our team on there, which is the gun team in the Mid-South. We cover the tri-state area. So, and we have some wonderful people on the team as well. I do give shout outs to them. And thank you, Memphis Beach.
I tell you what, Howie, this was
Yes.
amazing. Thank you so much. And folks, thanks for watching. Welcome to Memphis. Folks, I want to give a very special thank you to Top Gun Shooting Range in Memphis, Tennessee. This is where I teach personally. We hold permit classes, introductory courses, and advanced handgun self-defense courses. You can also rent guns to shoot on the range, including fully automatic machine guns. Also, in pure Memphis fashion, there's a barbecue restaurant in the building. Top Gun Memphis has 4.9 stars on Google reviews, so if you're in the area, come by and see us. Go to topgunmemphis.com for more info.